So it's been very interesting having been involved in the summit really from preconception, like from the very, very earliest days. The anti-hate space has become my passion, really, since the Tree of Life shootings. At the time of the shootings, I was the board chair at the Jewish Federation of Greater Pittsburgh. And in that role, I became immersed in the post-shooting remediation, if you will, of the community and of our community, of the greater community. And really, much of my time and energy and heart has been devoted to this cause for a very long time. Through Mark Nordenberg, who I served with on what we call the distribution committee that was formed to distribute funds that had been raised from the Tree of Life shooting. He brought me into this process very early, and of course I met Laura Ellsworth, and I think what we conceived of was ambitious, but it never occurred to me that it could have blossomed into what has become. And we're at the end of the third day now, and the caliber of speakers, the quality of discussion, the amazing interaction between all of the people at the conference, and everybody trying to just get as much information and share as much information as they can with each others has really been, I think, extremely productive. And as we talk about deliverables, which is what we're all about in this conference, I really hope and do believe that there will be many deliverables that come out of this conference.
Let me ask you this. How important is it to break down the silos? For example, at the summit, you have members of law enforcement. You have victims of hate-fueled violence. You have academics. How important is it for all those people in those various arenas to come together?
I think it's extremely important, and it's actually what makes this summit unique. I mean, I've learned a lot about what's going on in this area. There's dozens and dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of organizations that are trying to combat hate, both around the country, around the world. But what makes this summit unique is this cross-disciplinary approach, and the fact that people are able to hear from others who they might not normally coexist with. In my role as a steering committee member, I've been asked to do some introductions in the sessions. And I've found myself in sessions that I normally would not have, thought were my interest. And I sit there fascinated because there's so many different things that are going on in so many different areas. And again, it's a cross-disciplinary approach that I think is really productive and why people continue to come back to this conference.
Looking ahead, is it possible to predict how the summit will morph or change or alter going forward?
I have my own ideas of how, just small tweaks as well as some large tweaks. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's very important to do a post-summit analysis and, really honest conversation among the steering committee and the organizers to see what worked and what didn't work. The amount of content that we've all had to absorb, we've all been privileged to absorb over the past, has it been 3 weeks that we've been here? Feels like 3 weeks. It's enormous. Is that too much? I don't know. But you don't want to cut out any one thing because that may be the most important thing. So it's hard to balance. I think that's something we do have to look at.
Great. MERYL, thank you very much for taking the time
Sure.
to talk to us.
My pleasure.